Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another Steam match of the Mordheim Summer Tournament. My name is Karond, and this tournament is organized by Marcus Kane. You'll have to excuse me for not having any pre-screens for this particular match. I was very stressed when I made this match. It was all very sudden, so we missed out on recording those things. We will see what we have here. We do know that this is the first game of group number 5, played between Slainemor, playing the Sisters of Sigmar, and Karond, playing the Cult and Possessed. You'll also have to excuse me for talking in third person. I have made this decision. I'm going to do that for the rest of my games, Karond's games that is, as I want all of the castings to be pretty similar to one another. Let's see what we have here. We do, if you look at the top left corner, we see we have an ambush. We'll see who is the lucky one and who is the unlucky one here. There's always someone that is very poorly positioned to handle these kinds of scenarios. Ambush is really all about initiative, and while there are some other maps that can produce certain scenarios where initiative usually wins out, and there's a lot of maps where initiative doesn't win out as well to compensate, but the ambushes are a little bit unique in that you do start with a handicap as well, and one of these players starts with a handicap, and we'll see who that is any momentarily soon. And whoever starts with a handicap and a lower initiative usually always loses. And this is kind of an issue with tournaments in general, that there are maps like this that automatically produce a winner. And we hope that we get to see less of them as the tournament progresses. So we see here that Karond has a very big advantage here playing against Slainemor. He has a much higher initiative and seems to be having mostly melee units here, which will further widen the gap here. We do see an impressive for Slainemor. Karond also has a morale advantage here in the top left corner. We will just wait to see where these players put out their units. I think we can expect Slainemor, even though he's a newcomer, he does play the Sister Sigmar, and I think we should expect him to be the second favorite of this group. Udova has had pretty poor results, even though he has played several games so far, and I think that Slainemor could give Udova a pretty big competition here. Let's see what the plan here is. Okay, we see another Marauder. So 2 Marauders, 1 Mutant and 1 Globadier for Karond as far as the heroes go. We have seen 1 Maiden, the impressive Sisters of Sigmar, but we haven't seen anything else. This particular map forces you to deploy pretty openly as well, as we can see here, which is unfortunate for Slainemor here in his first tournament match ever. And we see here that Karond is the one who has the mechanical disadvantage, the mechanical handicap. And that could even things out a little bit here. Yes, initiative usually wins out, but at the very least, the person who starts with a higher initiative here will have minus 50% hit chance and minus 1 red pill as we start. And we'll see how that plays out. Usually the individual with the highest initiative wins anyway, and Karond should probably win here. He is the reigning champion after all, and getting an easy map like this certainly helps that cause. Let's see where Slainemor deploys his next units. You can see that there is at least a little bit of a gap down to this specific Marauder, Gudvar Thorhalsson. If you look closely enough, you will see that all of Karond's, both of his Marauders and his 1 Mutant, all have the Slicer mutation. The Slicer mutation is a very good mutation, since it bypasses parry as all of the armor mutations does, but it also has a poison check, and if you fail that, you get minus 9% melee resistance. That stacks with itself. So if a few of those are triggered here, we will be seeing some units that are very easy to hit. And that will go well with all of the great axes that he is bringing here. Taking quite a long time here to deploy. Last unit. This Marauder doesn't seem to have too many wounds available to him. I think that's it's not an oversight, but it's probably because he has a very high magic resistance. Whenever people face the Sister of Sigmar, the first thing they always do is that they equip all of their units with good magic resistance. The Comets of Sigmar are rightfully feared, one of the most effective offensive spells in the game, and naturally everyone prepares for that. As for the question, no doubt because of secondary weapon sets, yes, that's not entirely true. However, we will see that during the game. What that particular text hints at was a question that Slainemor asked Karond right before the game, why there was such a big difference in between their two ratings, and the difference was actually I believe 800, and that's quite a lot. And yes, weapon sets and secondary weapon sets might account for some of that, but it is very likely here that Slainemor has some units that are not level 10, and that's very unfortunate. We do always want people to have every single unit at level 10, and also having used all of the books and tomes and grimoires as on each unit, as well as having purple equipment with runes on them for every equipment slot. If you can't manage to get to that, you will be at a severe disadvantage, and you will probably lose every single game. We do see, wow, that is quite surprising. A sister Lanscon talent. That's very unusual here. Okay, here we go. First turn of the game. You see War Poison activated. It will be reduce anything that he hits, provided they fail a poison test by with -4 red pills. And we do see that for Dorothea Gebebach here, who won't be able to make any attacks for the next turn. Why would she need to? She just produced 56 damage here. Probably a bit of a mistake. The same also applies to Hildred Prasek. No red pills available. Well, one red pill available only. Stealing your pills indeed. War Poison is pretty good, but I always feel that it might be a weapon that's more suited to... Well, there is this game term that professional Magic of the Gathering players use, which is called that you win more with certain cards. And I feel like War Poison is a little bit like that. Whenever you have the option to spend 3 brew pills and target most of your enemy with this particular skill, you are not really that safe in return. You usually get caught with the Globadier, or you because you have lost so many blue pills, and I think that applies here. It's sort of a skill that wins you more. Like if you're ahead in the game and you feel like you're at a clear advantage, using War Poison will just cement that victory. It will rarely turn a victory around. That's my feeling, at least. I do favor numbing poison, but sometimes you just don't have time to level up new units. Alright, let's see what Hildred Prasek is gonna do here. She doesn't have any red pills remaining. Remember that, she was poisoned. Bit of bad luck there. And probably going with weapon of destruction on the third hero, melee hero as well here. That's right, whenever you are the one who's ambushing the opponent, you start with all of your units in ambush or overwatch, whichever applies. Alright. As you can see here, if all of Slainemor's units start in Overwatch, I think that what Karond really would want to do here is... These units seem pretty tanky, and they are, you can see that from the stats. But if he goes for it, remember that Dark Souls cannot disengage. So if you and the same is true for the Maiden. So if he wants to tie down the Maiden, he needs to lure all of those units around the Maiden to use up their ambush. Is that about to happen? No. It's going forth here. Do see a Purifier here, which would be a great unit to lure out. And there we go. The Purifiers also cannot disengage, meaning that this particular Purifier is trapped here. Which serves Karond's agenda here very well. A trapped Purifier is a Purifier that will have a very limited line of sight. She will only be able to fire her comments of Sigmar on the units that her opponent wishes her to see. You have a lot of units in ambush here, so you have to be careful of where you go. Alright, Karond probably wants to go out here, and so clear intention for that, but the mutant is in his way, so you have to delay. Let's see what these units do. In addition to starting in Overwatch and or ambush, many units also tend to start with a dodge stance. So it's not really like starting in Overwatch or ambush, it's more like starting with one of the special skills that provides a dodge attempt as well. Yeah, using Adrenaline Rush here wouldn't do much. Still delaying here, trying to get at Maiden. Could probably go for the marksman here, but seems intent on well, insult and frenzy. Frenzy does more damage and lasts for the other turns, and is about one turn. Alright, still very little damage done here. Insult to have a better chance of hitting on the charge, and doesn't hit, but that does pave the way towards the Maiden here, or that spear wielding unit. Pretty sure it's gonna use that. And here we go. And as we've said, neither of these units can disengage the Dark Soul nor the Maiden. So they're gonna be here for quite some time until one of them goes down. Which is good because you never really want your impressors to get stuck with a tanky henchman that you have to push through. Especially not as you're burning slowly alive. As you can see here, most of Karond's units actually have frenzy, and seems to be the main theme of this particular warband, that been Karond inspired. We did have a topic on the forum recently where a lot of people said that the worst skill in the game for them was without a doubt frenzy. And I really disagree with that, and I think this warband is an attempt to show that frenzy is fairly decent anyway. Specifically against magic and of course with more damage per attack. It works best with one-handed weapons, I will give you that. But for two-handed weapons, if you don't have any defense anyway, like with a great axe, which produces a lot of damage, using frenzy can be pretty good in those cases. Here we go. Bit of a tiny mistake there. Letting these trees use through, and you can see it showing great respect towards magic casting here. Pretty good melee resistance tank. That was probably a mistake using a feint here. We can see that slice and trigger there, which increased the chance to hit by plus 9%. For every unit that goes into this matriarch. She doesn't have any red pills to attack with. Fortunate for that particular Dark Soul, since that particular Dark Soul is probably very easy to hit. Head to your sidestep here. Third character, going for the matriarch, I assume. Yes, just piling it on. It's always good to focus down any kind of targets that you have. Particularly enemy characters like this. You can see the frustration coming out of Slainemor. He realizes what's about to happen. And he probably relies quite a bit on this particular tanky matriarch. A bit of a mistake by Karond here, who's probably a little bit confused here, but if you do enter Frenzy, you can never loot an enemy's corpse, and he was trying to do that, and while doing that, he wasn't able to use a talisman here, like the other units, and we'll see if that's gonna come back and bite him. Let's see what this particular marksman wants to do. He seems to be sort of trapped here. Probably has a pretty good dodge chance, and he gets plus 10% extra because of the great axe. Whenever he wants to attack in there. Alright. As the regular dodge stance. Gonna save two red pills. Here we see Gusinda Falkastan. What is she gonna target? She's probably gonna look for heroes. It's also a good idea to target down heroes and leaders as soon as you can, and even just doing damage on them rather than the henchmen. Particularly since this particular henchman that she's facing has a lot of wounds, and she's looking at one of the easier targets here. can see that she's carrying 2 Sigmar Warhammers. Pretty good for spellcasting. Rosary increasing spellcasting chance by 15%, making it very very reliable, I mean. Almost wasted half the time here. And there we go. And naturally she has been checking out all of the heroes here and looking at which of these units forgot to use the talisman, and she did find it. 36%, 36% chance to resist spell though. Still pretty decent. Failing twice in a row. Statistically should be able to save this third one if there is a third one. No such luck. We might see one of Karond's heroes go down here. Seeing as there are a lot of units here, it's probably that particular sister landscape talent unit might move into the Marauder here and finish the Marauder off. Took a big chance there with the Divine Grab. It paid off. Here we go. Will she be able to finish off this particular Marauder? Doesn't seem to have too great of a chance in hitting this unit. We see that this Marauder has a destroyer, not slicer. Forgive me for that error. Destroyers reduce the melee damage that you do. I don't know what happened there. Did Wilhelmina Sturm, the Sister Lanska's talent, try to flee? Because there was a second attack here that missed. Slainemor taking some time on him. Deciding what to do. Disengaging instead. I'm going after something that's far easier to hit here. Apparently not. Still 89% chance to hit it and a bit of a bad luck here. So, whenever there's an ambush like this, a lot of the times you do lose 2 or 3 units right off the bat. Yes, it does help somewhat if the person with the highest initiative, or the woman with the highest initiative, get the mechanical handicap, -1 red pill, -50% hit chance. But still, you usually lose 2 to 3 units. But I don't think we should be fooled here. Karond seems to have a sizable advantage. We'll see what this impressive can do, but this impressive is tied down. Most of his units, the marksman is tied down. Many of his units are down, and 2 of them are gonna lose. We don't have any red pills left for attacks. The purifier is tied down, and the matriarch is dead. That's quite of a sizable advantage. The matriarch was pretty defensive. So losing that unit instead of 2 other units is probably well in line with what we usually see for ambushes like this. %52% chance to hit here. The impressive managed to make it. Pretty important that she does. She sees 2-handed and she does less damage with each attack. I think it's a mistake usually to use a 2-handed weapon on the impressive, since you might want to use order, or in Sigmar's case, Sigmar's second wind, which restores red pills. And if you do use a 2-handed weapon where your damage drops after each hit, you don't get as much mileage out of those abilities. So it's always better to use dual wielding in that case. Particularly since impressives are immune to clearing effects, so all of their attacks still just cost 2 red pills. I don't know why this particular sister is using madcap mushrooms. Maybe she has pretty poor weapon skill. Because it should be pretty easy to hit a 200 Great Axe character like that. Decent amount of damage. We're about to wrap up the first turn here. Taking 30 damage to do damage actually. Just enter Rebel Steel, hoping to get a counter attack going. I have to say that I think this sister is probably on the right track here. I kind of like this move. The objective here is to get the impressive free as soon as possible, and if this unit can help with doing that and producing some damage or reducing stance attempts, it might be worthwhile. Particularly since we did see here that the impressive had a little bit of issue hitting. Yes, she has 52% chance to hit, and that's what I mean. I don't mean that she had difficulties actually hitting the character, because she was a little bit lucky there and hit 2 out of 3 attacks. Alright. Gonna see Strangling Globe, which makes sure that you can't use leadership skills such as Insult, and of course you cannot cast spells for 2 turns, which is gonna be really painful for that particular purifier. More poison again here. Targeting. Oh, that's a bit of bad luck. Roughly 10% chance. And losing all of the red pills on that novice. Probably judging that that particular Globadier is safe, but you can see the issue here with the poison. You use 3 blue pills, and it's not that easy to get away after you have used the poison, so you really need to be in a safe position to use it. Hence the comment on it being more of a skill that helps you win more. That's a really, really good firebomb. Targeting all 3 heroes, good lord. And tying down one of the marauders, the one who's most injured. Probably wants to get the melee heroes here targeted with weapon destruction. Attracting lure helping out, free up the Magister to get the weapon of destructions that he needs. Bit of bad luck here again, the second one out of 5 that he misses. Third out of 7 that he misses. Yes, this is a really, really poor Magister, or very unlucky Magister. use a Dracula here, but since he is the unit that we want to kill off as soon as possible to free up the maiden, I think that was a pretty good choice going into Weapon Steel as the red kills here. And you can see the Falcazon is probably going down here. Remember that there are 2 melee heroes free a little bit further up the road. Yeah, indeed. That is the main issue here. That Slainemor didn't get the chance to disengage with most of his units. So he only lost the matriarch at the start, but he was put in such a situation here that he doesn't have a chance to pull back really. And we're gonna see another of, well, the first hero of Slainemor going down here momentarily. There we go. No more combat casting for you. Forgetting about frenzy characters not being able to loot. Bit strange that this particular unit lost his frenzy between the 2 turns, since he had clear line of sight to a lot of these different characters here. Checking out the all alone stats of these units. See that they are so and so. Gonna see if we can trigger something here. Gets to do a second round of attacks against this Dark Soul, probably due to having switched out his longbow, which gives -5 initiative, and got an mace, which gives +5 initiative, and also 10 for the empty hand. So improving his initiative from 50 up to 70. So making him get to do attacks twice in a row here. All right. Probably gonna look at the insult now that this particular Dark Soul he used Frenzy to charge in and last turn. See if he can do anything on this turn then. Remember that this particular novice is in sidestep mode. Not a very good hit. At least removing one of the dodge attempts, one left. We do see here that Slainemor actually used 3 consumables, since he used up a rosary earlier. Still had a rosary on him, and as well as a healing. Although it can be considered cheating, it can also not be considered, since you can only use 1 rotary each game, so it doesn't really matter that he has 2 of them. Another tracking lure here, and it seems to succeed. Tracking lure is such a good skill, but it's also a very buggy skill. You do need to be able to target someone that could flee from it, as well as being in a position where it can be used. So whenever you are tied down or against a wall or clipping against something, a tracking lure is usually not available. And it's also a little bit buggy that sometimes when it should be available, it's not available. So it's not something to rely on, but it's very good for the henchman here to occasionally do some extra damage and apply damage for 2 units at once. It's also a risk, but something it can be worth taking. That's a lot of damage. Finishing off a 3rd unit of Slainemor, and I don't really see how Slainemor can pull back from this. Remember that this particular sister used adrenaline rush to save a red pill, and why attack into that if you don't need to? Since Karond has an advantage in amount of characters here, he is not the one pressed to do any more killing. It's more on the Slainemor here to produce something to even it up. Ah, this is bad. This might mean second hero goes down. The last hero. And if this last hero goes down... Oh, there we go. 93% a miss. So this hero might survive here. But if this hero goes down, then Slainemor cannot make any more route tests. Remember that the matriarch is dead, and the purifier is dead, and this is the last hero able to take route tests. It's also a common misconception that impressives can take route tests, but they cannot. They automatically fail them if they are forced to do that. Same with all of the henchmen, of course. Poor Dorothea Gebenbach, not being able to use her 4 red pills for this turn as well. So she doesn't have too many options. Probably gonna go into Prayer of Swiftness and sidestep quickly. At least she succeeded on the all alone check. That red mist on her body is also an effect from the Strangling Globe, preventing her from using any leadership skills such as Insult. This brother seems to be almost dead here. I really don't know why this particular novice didn't attack him and kill him. 21% chance to succeed here at attracting her. Pretty good. Probably wants to get free, doesn't want to start in a fire. Destroyer minus 9% melee damage for that character, and here we go. So Slainemor is now unable to succeed at the route test. We are gonna count down here, see how many more characters he will lose. He is 32 points away from going up the line, which means that Slainemor needs to lose 2 more characters before he has lost this game. Gonna happen pretty soon here. And the impressive is still stuck. Alright, let's see what Slainemor is about to do. He's just standing there for now. Casting Sigmar's Might. I don't really agree with this. I think that the maiden should never really cast spells unless she's unable to get into combat. Wow, that was a really lucky hit. 52% chance to hit and 67% missed parry. Pretty good. Especially since the maiden... Wow. Another such really lucky hit here. Yes, it's almost unbelievable. It's like she has luck on her side. Still, you shouldn't really cast spells with the maiden. The problem with the maiden is that the maiden is effectively 2 characters. If you had 2 purifiers and you cast a spell like that, it will cost 2 red pills. But since the maiden is effectively 2 heroes, it's like she's casting that spell, but it costs her 4 red pills. So any spell that she casts costs double the amount that it would on another character, technically, because she's 2 characters. So using that particular spell, no, I don't like it, and I don't like it a lot since not only that, because it's inefficient, it's also that the maiden tends to not have channeling, so she could be suffering from divine wrath and go 9999 and go out of the game, or suffer something horrible, and it's really never worth it unless you are certain that you cannot get into melee, and then use a few combats, use a little bit of damage if you can manage it. Probably better to use 2 Sigmar Warhammers in that case, curse resist. I don't know really why this particular sister wants to trade here. She is definitely losing out. Bit of bad luck on that hit, but she's gonna take more damage. Will she use another rush this time as well? No. She doesn't want to take any more damage here. Alright. So both of the parry attempts are gone here. Impressive, removed them in a very impressive way. Will this sister be able to finish off this Dark Zone? At least produce one kill for Slainemor. Now that the Marauder seems to be safe and sound behind the wall. And indeed it does, 44% chance to hit, managing that pretty well. Still, it did barely dent the morale of Karond here. 2 more units for Slainemor needs to go down, or just 1 unit, and having the flag removed, and Slainemor will have lost the game. Could happen pretty rapidly here, probably will. As most of Karond's units gets to move, and we do know that we have a few units that are very exposed and pretty roughed up as well. Carl Grabner here might go down soon as well if Slainemor does get a chance to attack anymore.
A new round has started.
Remember that the Impressive is free now, and it will be interesting to see where she wants to go, if she gets to move before that. Remembering Hildred Prasek, who was attracting Lurd away from Marauder. She's pretty damaged. We can see here that Hildred Prasek has only 200 wounds. That's a clear indication that this particular character is not level 10. She's probably level 8 or something like that, which just further widens the gap here and makes this game not that very competitive. Yes, there is an ambush. Ambushes can decide games no matter who you are, what format you have. So it sucks to have one of the better players have disadvantage on a newcomer, and a newcomer that doesn't really have all units at level 10. You can even see that here on this particular novice. Take a look at her face and you see that she has an eye injury as well, meaning that she has minus 10% chance to hit. That really hurts. So just a much poorer a much weaker warband here from Slainemor, and a bit sad. We were hoping to see more of an even game here. I think that this might cast some doubts on Slainemor defeating Ottawa. We will see. If Slainemor can get a few units up to level 10 before facing Ottawa. Could be more even, but Ottawa probably has all of his units at level 10 at least. Another weapon of destruction miss here by this lousy Magister. Yeah, high rage. He should really be raging at his own performance here, and yes, that seems deserving of his particular skill level. Picking up a talisman. Pretty useless here, only the maiden has spells. And she's not very likely to cast Comets of Sigmar when she can do so much more damage with her melee attacks. So one more unit needs to go down. And actually needs to be one more unit. I think I said that you could lose out if you took the banner as well, but that's only applied if it would be the maiden who would have lost here. One more unit needs to die. Probably gonna be poor Dorothea Gebenbach, who hasn't been able to make a single attack during the entire game. Delaying to make sure the Dark Soul hits first and just got few dodge attempts that this character has. Two parry attempts. First one a miss, pretty lucky here. Second one succeeded. At least much better than the Dark Souls attempts here. Oh, let's see. Doing 53 to 58, have 62 wounds. Probably a very good idea to use a tracking lure here. Only way to finish that character off in one go. And success. So Karond has won here. It's a matter of deciding by what score. We hope that Slainemor is not too deterred and it can come back and do a little bit more leveling on most of his units. And if he goes out here for the next tournament, hopefully he will make sure that his units come in not just with level 10 but without any injuries, and hopefully most of the moves as well, so that they can compete on an even level. Very, very unlucky dodge roll here. One dodge attempt left. It's off. Probably gonna go down here as well. It's just numbers at this point. Still forgetting that Frenzy cannot pick up loot. Nor can they actually enter into an ambush stance. They can't use any stance whatsoever. Indeed, Slainemor cannot succeed at the round test, so this game has already been decided. We have this unit and the Hutch Marauder as well. They seem to be talking about that in the chat here. We can see that Kelly Autenberg also doesn't have enough wounds to establish that she is a level 10 character. She does have a bit more, she just have 201 like the other novice had, but she's probably level 9. If this attacks hits, the unit might die as well. And she does. Leaving Slainemor with only his impressive. Can't really kill anything else right now, so yes, GG. Bit of a boring game, to be honest, really no tension, but it just shows that ambushes do have this effect, and especially if there's a wide difference in rating between the two players. We'll see you next game, and hope it's a better one. So farewell for now.